In my quest to be completing every single Lego Ninjago set, today I will be looking at the Ultra Stealth Raider, released in 2016 in the day after the Departed Wave. This set is set number 70595, where it retailed for about €90 when it was released. It contains 1093 pieces, and this is the second combiner vehicle I will be looking at. I've previously taken a look at the Ultrasonic Raider, released in 2012. And this is the direct successor of that set. It's not a direct remake, but it captures the same concept as that set. So, without further ado, let's get into the big build itself. We have the Ultra Stealth Raider here. As you can see, it pretty much has the same color scheme as the original has. It's primarily white, with a bit of black and dark brown in it. It also has, of course, the gold details, but unlike the original, it scrapped the few parts of yellow, and it has some red highlights, where you can see even in the middle parts where it's not specifically Kai's vehicle, you can see it also has some red parts. As you can see, this set also is able to split apart. I just set Kai's part here, and it comes, instead of what the original had, into 2 vehicles, this one can actually split into 4 vehicles. You have one for Jay, one for Kai, one for Cole, and one for Zane. And before I get a look at how it looks, I am gonna say it should have been one for Nia and one for Lloyd, or them swapped around, but I'll get into that a bit later. The set has 2 main cockpits. I will presume, if it's combined, that this is the main cockpit, and you have the spots to fit all the other Ninja. You have these small cannons in here, which, can I do this one-handed? I probably not. You can still see it. There's a big knob on the back, and if you twist it, it will actually shoot one of the studs off. And you have that on this side, it's this handle, by the way, and you have it also on the other side. They do come with spares, and I'll show that in a bit when the vehicles are not combined anymore. For the details, you have some spring-loaded shooters on here. You have one side, they can actually twist around, by the way. And if you press down, it will actually shoot off. Okay, I lost that one. There is a spare, luckily, on the other side. I did lose that one, but that's fine. You can see, finally, they have the threaded parts, which means that it actually rolls, but okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. You have these golden spikes, a lot of detailing. You see all the logos of the Ninja and the ones from Zane at the top. But continuing with my look around, you see this really big wheel, and I really like this wheel. It has the big plates, it's one which I believe used from the tumbler back in the day. But you have this really great dish piece, and it just looks cool. You have these original spinners on the small wheels, and it just looks really cool. Continuing around, you can pretty much see the same thing for Jay. This also shoots, but I won't lose that one this time. And it just looks really cool. On the top you can see USR, that is for the Ultra Stealth Raider, or Ultrasonic Raider, but this is the Stealth Raider. You can see the logos of the Ninja, the original ones. I know my stickers are bad, but it's fine. And you can see some really nice stickering all over this set, by the way. This is a combiner vehicle. I'll show you the interior of the cockpits, but it's easier to do it when they're separated. And how do you separate them? Well, let me first start off with the bikes. You have these little Technic pins in here, and if you press the bike backwards, you can remove it. And it works the same on Kai's side. For the middle part, it's a bit more difficult, so let me just get these 2 out of the way. For Jay's bike, you will see that it looks pretty standard. It is fairly big, especially if it's just for a figure. Let me just grab Jay and put him on here. You can actually make him hold the handlebars because it is adjustable, and he is adjustable. But still, you can see that he fits fairly good onto her, but it's just a really big bike. Again, you have the spring-loaded shooter, and where it can just, it's balanced enough. You can move it around however you want. It looks very simple. The fun thing about this one and the variant of Kai is that you have some like blue details in here, which are like swapped around with the red ones for Kai. It just looks really cool. For Kai, it is pretty much the exact same thing, just mirrored. But you can see this one has some red, has the blaster on the other side, still can move about fairly fine. It has the same issue, it's just big, but Ninjago vehicles are big. We don't actually see many threaded vehicles for Ninjago, especially not half tracks where they have wheels and treads. But it's really cool to actually have some of those, so it's unique enough. It's not a bad vehicle. It's especially pretty cool actually. And just so you know, you can actually fit Kai on here, of course. And you have actually a spot for his blades. I didn't show you that on Jay's part, but you can simply clip them on right there. For Saint's little, it's not a helicopter, but it really looks like one. You can still see those same stickers, as I said. If you want to press them down or retract, if you want to retract the wings, you just press down there, and if you want to open them, you place there. It's not too much of a change, but it looks fine. On the bottom, you can see there's a little spot where you can actually capture a fit in here. So let's just take Aizorai, and you can just fit him in there, and he is pretty locked up, which is pretty fun because this is actually the same cockpit piece as the previous combiner vehicle. For the other details, there is a cockpit, which you can of course open up, and for the first time it has enough space to actually put 2 minifigures in there. That is really great, and it can still close up at that point. So for my proof of concept, you have 2 minifigures. I know I shouldn't pilot this vehicle, but they can both fit in here. So that means that you have enough place to put all the 6 main ninja at this point in time in the vehicle. Because when looking at the cockpit of the other part, there's also enough room, and I really like that part. Back to the flyer, you can see a little console piece with some of the levers and a place to put the shurikens. You can place it back, and you have this pretty cool flyer actually. Now, for the biggest of the 3, Cole's part, it looks pretty menacing. I do like that this wheel actually is in the middle all the time, and where you can actually flip it out, because even if you flip it and you have like something more akin of the, when you have something more like the old combiner vehicle, it is really cool to be able to flip that around and make it look like a pretty fine vehicle. It uses the same cockpit and also has spot for 2 rooms, just a control panel and a bit of a screen, nothing more. What this does have is some hidden stickers among the set, and back around here you can see you can actually flip this up, and you have the spare for the cannons, which is great that it has them here. You also have a place for Cole's weapons. Every one of the ninja has a spot for their weapons, which is fairly fine, fairly cool. It can still roll around easy, you can kind of spin it around. It's pretty fun to be looking at it. Separating the set was just as easy as recombining it, where you can just put the bikes back in their spot. For those wondering, it still works like this. It just looks a bit weird, and the bottom, this front wheel doesn't hit the ground, but it still can drive around. Flip this one back, put the plane back, and slide it back to the front, and you still have this amazingly big, gorgeous set. On the villain side, we however have this like dinosaur creature. It is really cool. It's just like a mech dinosaur where Master-chan can actually sit on top of it. At the top of this little mech robot dinosaur, you can actually fit Master-chan. I have his weapons on here, so it doesn't fit all too well, but it's fine. You can actually make it move around. And the great part is you can actually remove it. It's a bit sun damaged, but that's not too bad. It is a really cool throne to actually put aside. And I will put it aside because then I can look at the little dino a bit easier, which looks really cute. You have these little eyes, you have a mouth that opens up and down. You have these little T-Rex arms, which just use like the saw blade. It is pretty fun. You actually have these really big blasters on the top, which also have those spring-loaded shooters, and which can move up and down. I think I've put them on wrong. Yeah. So that's how it's supposed to be. You have this small sticker of some mechanical detail, and you have of course a bit of a tail which can whack up and down and whack around. It has some ratcheted joints. It's fine. It doesn't need to be great. You can have a lot of movability, a lot of motion, which you can get out of this dragon. It's not a dragon, it's a dinosaur. Also the feet, so it's really easy to get into some fun poses. But it does look best with the throne on top. Having it like this, it looks really great. It is fine. It's not something to write home about, but it looks good enough and it actually does what it needs to be doing, giving us a vehicle for the bad guys. Taking a look at the figures, I will start off with the villains. We have, first off, Master Yang, Master Chen, and we have Aizorai. First off, why doesn't he have the tail? He should have had the tail. That's my biggest problem with the Aizorai figure, because it doesn't have the tail, but it has like the printing of the anaconda on his torso, and the tail parts of the other two of those figures actually have them on the leg part. So if you want to give him a tail, he has double of those skulls, which is just a bit sad. He does have some really great eyes, and I do still find it sad that he doesn't have the great mohawk piece. But for a figure, it looks fine. It's great to get another one instead of Chop Rai and Kapow Rai. So it's great. It's fine. It has one of the scimitar pieces. It is just a fine figure. It's a good inclusion. It's better than anything we've gotten before. For Master Chen, he comes with this really great jade blade of the departed time with the crystal. I don't know what they're called. I should put that up top if I do know what they're called. He has this really great piece. He doesn't have the cape, sadly. Removing that, you can also see he has a bit of the Wolverine claw. Some nice printing. It's the same figure that we had previously, a couple of years prior to this set when it came out. And lastly, we have Master Yang, who has the silver part of the head. Has a really great back accessory with a lantern. It looks really cool, and he also has one of these parted blades with the shuriken at the top. Removing all his accessories, you can see he comes with a ghost tail, has some nice printing, some different sensei printing, which is really cool, and some pretty back printing. Too bad you will never actually see this. For the first two ninja, we have Kai and we have Jay. I am probably gonna have to say that these are my favorite, or the best, in my opinion, suits that Ninjago has ever made, because they go so back to the classics, to the first suits and to the DX suits, as you can see with Jay's arm, where he actually, not DX, CX suits, where you can see Jay has actually a silver arm this time. They have a great combination of their main color scheme and their secondary color scheme, and they just look really cool, and you have a full team of them. Not per se in this set, but across the wave. Let's start with Kai. You can see his original logo and his robes, which are just a perfect combination of the two. He taking off his head, you can see his basic face. At this point in time, I don't believe he has gotten another one, or it was a exclusive one from the sets. Either way, taking off his head, you can see his torso print, and also on the back where you can just see pretty much the same thing he already had. For Jay, it's a bit different because he actually comes with a new face print at the point in time. This face has a sad and a smiling face. I believe this one was also used in Skybound, but don't get me wrong, it could have been that it's been introduced for this set. It looks so cute. It's so much better than having the same face print all the time. And also for him, removing his torso print, you can see the same scabbard idea, and it just looks really nice. These figures are still some of my favorite, if not the best overall. For the last two figures, we have Cole and we have Sane. For Cole, let's start with Cole. His design is probably still great. It's the same It's the same deal as the other figures, where it's mostly the first couple of suits combined, having a real cool mask and combination with the dark gray and the black. He comes with 2 of the side pieces, and he comes with a new face print for this point in time, where he has a double-sided face with the crack, which he will get at the end of this mini series. Looking back, he probably should have still gotten the ghost head at this point in time, but it's fine, especially since we didn't really get many sets with this mask, or with this head I mean. At the back, also the same idea. Probably one of the better looking ghouls. If you don't realize it already, I really love these figures. For Zane, it is a bit different because he actually has silver color scheme instead of gold. Comparing it to his originals, he has completely silver, which is his secondary color. He has a silver scabbard piece instead of the dark brown, and probably also a really faithful recreation of his first couple of suits. Although he does have a bit of a different lion dragon face or whatever, it's still pretty great. He comes with 2 shurikens, and he also has a good face print. This is the dual-sided one with the techno suit, whatever, the Iron Man like head, and same as the others, he has some scabbard designs. Great falling off. He has some scabbard designs. Something I haven't mentioned yet is that Aizorai and Kai are exclusive to the set, if you don't count magazines for Kai, that is. But nonetheless, this is a really good set. It's better than the original in pretty much every single way except for nostalgia. I got the set after wanting the original way later than it was released, couldn't get it, and then this set was revealed and released, and I bought it pretty much immediately. And there is still no point of doubt in that part, except for the fact that I got like 2 more of these sets in bags, which you shouldn't care for. So only nostalgia makes the other better. It's a big set, but when you separate the sets, it's not like they must have been one. Like, you can see some slight defects of the bikes, especially for Cole's bike. It's where you can see the biggest problems it has separated, but it's definitely not as severe as the original Ultrasonic Raider. What's also great is you actually get a side build, you get some fill-ins, you get again the main 4 ninja, well, 4 of the main ninja at this point. And especially if you compare that this was before Legacy, so they could have also not made this vehicle and made something entirely different, but they made this set. They made an amazing set which can actually roll better than the other one. The biggest problem with this set is that they kept it to the 4 original ninja, instead of giving it to Lloyd and Nia instead of Cole and Zane, because Cole and Zane already got vehicles in this wave. So in this show, in the Day of the Departed special, you actually see Lloyd and Nia driving this vehicle, which makes sense. But they don't have their symbols on the set. And they're not included in the set, which is like a small inconsistency. It's not the only small inconsistency Ninjago has, but it is still inconsistent. It should have been that this set would be for Lloyd or Nia, or that Lloyd or Nia and Nia would get their own sets. But that's like a small wave gripe and probably something with the set designers instead of actually something to do with the set itself. Overall, I haven't looked at the others. Maybe they will impress me more than I'm thinking right now. But thus far, this is probably and will probably stay the best version of the combiner vehicle from Ninjago. So, for the time being, I will place it right next to the previous version. Right there, next to the other one. I'll be placing down coal. I will be placing down same, one to the front, making a spot for J, and don't forget Kai. And for the villains, I'll be placing down Chen and Isorai and Master Yang. So now for the updated minifigure wall, it's still fairly empty. One small point for consistency. Should I keep same with the silver plates or like the other ninja with the gold plates? Something to think about. And right in this spot, I'm going to be placing our little dinosaur friend. You'll see the other spots around him soon.